previously recorded. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these here potatoes and I'm just going to cut them up into rounds like that. And make sure they is a little on the thick side. Alright, so now I got all the chicken seasoned up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this chicken and we're going to lay it right here on top of this potatoes and peppers. I'm actually going to take them and lay them skin side down. Alright y'all, so it have been maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. And so now I'm about to check this to see how much more longer I got or if it's even done. Hey y'all, it's your girl T, Not Gonna Be Me, and today I'm coming at you with something a little bit different. Today what I'm gonna be making is a chicken pot pie soup. Have you ever had it before? I ain't never had it before neither. I don't think I did. I done had a chicken pot pie, but I ain't never had no chicken pot pie soup. And my inspiration came from, if y'all have watched the previous video where I made chicken and potatoes in the oven. My inspiration came from that. And I did not want to throw away the leftover potatoes that I had. We ate all the chicken out the pan, but we still had a lot of potatoes left. So I said, well, what can I make with this chicken potato? I started out was going to make me some chicken and rice and didn't even think nothing about the chicken potatoes. The potatoes until I went to the refrigerator. And I was like, it's a lot of potatoes left in this pan. I'm going to do something with them. So that's when I came up with the idea of making a chicken pot pie soup for y'all. So if you want to know how to make a chicken pot pie soup, I ask that you stick around. If you is new here, welcome to my channel. I ask that you hit the subscribe button, ring the doorbell, ring the doorbell, hit the thumbs up, the like button is what I like to call it. And also I ask that you what else you need to do? Subscribe, ring the doorbell, and just come on and sit here and watch me make this video, child. I can't think of nothing else that you need to do but sit here. Okay? Alright, y'all. So let's get into the ingredients. Thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy this video. Alrighty, so the ingredients that you're going to need for this chicken pot pie soup is as follows. You're going to need you some mixed vegetables. You can use the corn and sweet peas alone, but I had that in the freezer, so I'm going to be using that. And basically this is going to be a make do with what you got recipe, okay? You're going to want a bell pepper and an onion, but I don't have any, so I'm not going to worry about it. And I definitely did not want to run out in the cold and maybe even a little sprinkle of rain to go get an onion, bell pepper. So we're going to use what we got, all right? So then you're going to need you some whole milk, but in the place of the whole milk you can use some heavy cream or half and half mixed with regular milk. Then you're going to need you some cream of chicken. I'm going to be using the cream of chicken in mine, so that's why I'm not worried about having the heavy cream, because the cream of chicken is going to take the place of that. When I make chicken pot pie, I like to use cream of chicken in my chicken pot pie. All right, you're going to need you some seasonings of your choice, but the ones that I'm going to be using is some seasoning salt, black pepper, garlic powder, celery salt, onion powder, chicken-based seasoning, parsley, maybe salt, maybe some salt. And I got me 2 cans of the cream of chicken soup mix. And that is the 10.5 ounce can, or you can have 1 large can. I also have me some chicken thigh and chicken leg that I had started boiling. Like I told you, I was going to make some chicken and rice, but then I changed my mind. So I already boiled up my chicken, but it's boiled enough to be done and for me to pull it off the bone. It's not boiled so much where it's going to shred, okay? So I boiled the chicken, and I have 1/3 cup of flour, and then I have some margarine. You can use butter, but I always use margarine. And you're going to also need you some potatoes. You can add as many potatoes as you would like to your chicken pot pie soup, but since I had leftover potatoes, I'm going to be using all of this, what I got right here. And guess what? I ain't got to worry about the bell peppers and the onions, because I got some right here in this pan, and we're going to be using all that deliciousness to make this chicken pot pie. All right, so I have boiled my chicken, and what I'm about to do is I am about to take my chicken and I'm going to cut it up into, you know, nice size pieces or whatever. You will also be cutting up your bell peppers and your onions if you have any to add to yours, but I don't have that, and I'm not going to worry about it. And if you ain't got none, don't you worry about it, because as long as you got you some onion powder and all your good seasonings, it's going to turn out just good. So basically what I'm doing is I'm kind of like taking this chicken and cutting it into cube-like pieces. So I have picked the chicken off the bone and left the bone right here. So I have picked the chicken off the bone. And another thing that you're going to need is you a chicken broth. I started to make a homemade broth, but was moving so fast and threw away my bones from the chicken that I picked. And so I'm going to be just making me a broth out of this chicken-based seasoning. Okay? And you're going to need that in this process in a few minutes. This cooking process. So once I get all this cut up, you want to chunk up your chicken. Like I said, my chicken, it was boiled long enough to get the my chicken was boiled long enough to cook it all the way through, but it wasn't boiled long enough to shred it. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm able to go through and chunk up my chicken the way that I'm doing it. Now, if you don't want to take, you know, if you don't want to cook some chicken, I honestly recommend cook the dark meat, because the dark meat is going to taste better and have more flavor, and it got the fat in it that you need compared to using chicken breast. The chicken breast, I think it's going to be kind of on the dry side if you ask me. So use you some chicken thighs or and chicken legs or whatever mixed together, and, you know, make your chicken pot pie, you know, nice and delicious and flavorful, you know, instead of using that dry piece of meat, especially if you're gonna boil it. You know, I don't like boiled chicken breast. I don't. So I get away from boiled chicken breast as much as I can. But a piece of fried chicken breast, oh baby, now that's me all day long right there now. All right, so I'm gonna get the rest of this chicken cut up, and then I'm gonna move right on to the next step. But don't forget, if you have used some fresh carrots, some bell pepper, onion, and celery, go ahead on and cut that up right now. And you're going to start sauteing it up until it's nice and tender. And then we all going to move on to the next step together. Okay? Alrighty. Alrighty, y'all. So I got my pot on the stove. You get your nice size pot, because it's going to start filling up real quick before you know it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with me some butter. and get that melted. Maybe about the same amount of flour that I got. That's what I'm doing, y'all. About the same amount of flour. I got about a third cup of flour. So I'm going to try to add me about a third cup of butter. Well, mine's is margarine, but it is what it is. You know? Okay. So, get all that melted down. And once this melt down, we're going to add the flour to it. And I have some all-purpose flour. Okay, so at this point right now is where you will be sauteing up your bell peppers, your onions, your celery, and your carrots all together until it get nice and translucent, right? Or you could do it in a separate pan, however, whatever, it's up to you. But right here is at the point where you will be doing that. Okay, so once it all gets tender, then you're gonna add your flour. So pretend like we got our bell peppers and onions and stuff and carrots and all that stuff already in here. So now everything I got salt. So now I'm about to add my all-purpose flour to this. And you want to cook your flour for maybe like a minute or two, because what you're doing is cooking that flour taste out of the flour. And see, what the flour is going to end up doing is acting as a thickener for your chicken pot pie soup. So I'm going to cook this here for maybe like two minutes, just to cook that flour taste out. Could be even a little bit longer. You never know. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna cook that for 2 minutes and then I'll come back. While I cook my flour, I have me 4 cups. It's about 4.5, but you know, we're gonna use more anyway, of water, right? So we about to make up this chicken broth while that's going. So I'm gonna take me about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna take 3 tablespoons starting out. We're going to have some more liquid to go with this, so don't panic. But we're going to start out with this 3 tablespoons of chicken broth. Mix that chicken-based seasoning. Mix that in with your water. And this is going to make your chicken broth. You want your chicken pot pie to have a nice, good flavor. And make sure that you remember to stir your flour. All right. Don't let it burn. But 2 minutes, you shouldn't burn it if you have it down low enough. All right, so now, what I'm about to do is take this here chicken broth and add it. Add it on in with this flour. Stirring it. Then we're going to add 2 more cups, which is going to make this 6 cups of chicken broth. 2 more, just water. Just water. Nothing else but water. Okay. So now we got that. Now we're going to let this here come up to a simmer, and we're going to move on to the next step. Alrighty, y'all. So now my base has come up to a simmer, and so now I have my can of cream of chicken. We're going to start out with the first one. I don't know if I'm going to need 2, but I got 2 just in case I'm going to need them. Okay, so we're going to start out with this first can. We're going to dump that in. We're going to dump that in. And we're going to get that mixed in. with that right there. Well, God dang it. Okay. All right. So now, mix that on in. And like I said, that flour is going to act as a thickener. So you're going to notice that this broth is going to have like a little gravy look to it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add in 1 cup of milk. Like that's right there. See that there? Then we're going to go in and we're going to add our chicken. I didn't season my chicken when I boiled it. So I'm not going to worry about this being salty at all because I didn't season it. Okay, get that mixed on in. Now we got our chicken in there, and now we're about to add our peas and carrots, the frozen mixed vegetables. You can, if you already got carrots sauteed up, then what you'll be adding is your peas and your corn. I'm going to be adding this here right down in there. Starting to look like a pot pie, ain't it? Get that in there. Ooh, yes. Okay. Now we're going to add us some seasonings. So we're going to start off with some garlic powder. Season to your own taste. I'm going to add just a tad bit of celery salt just for that celery flavor. I'm not trying to add too much because I don't want this to be salty. I'm going to add some onion powder. Black pepper. Then I'm going to add some parsley. And we're going to mix this on in. I got my seasoning salt, but I want to taste this before I add that because it might be seasoned enough. Okay. But I was going to tell y'all, if you didn't want to cook the chicken, you can use a rotisserie chicken. Save you some time. If you have some baked chicken, use your baked chicken. If you want to bake the chicken instead of boil the chicken, then bake the chicken and then add it. You can pan sear the chicken. Make it your own. Do what you want to do is what I'm trying to tell you. Nice and flavorful. I'm really not going to go in with my seasoned salt at this point. So what I'm going to do is I want to let this here come up to a boil because I want to see how thick it's going to be before I add my potatoes in. You will go ahead and add your potatoes now since you have some raw potatoes. So you will add your potatoes at this point as well. But since I'm going to be using leftover cooked potatoes, I'm not going to add mine right now. I'm going to wait to add mine. So I'm just going to let this here come up to a boil, see how thick it is, and see if I want to add my other can of cream of chicken, and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, so I'm back. I have let this come up to a boil, and I'm about to give this here a taste and check it for the consistency that it has. I want to have a nice creaminess to it, you know. I don't want it to be like soupy, but I want it to be like a soupy but creamy. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get that a little taste, and that's gonna let me know if I want to add my other can of cream of chicken, and maybe even add a little bit more of a flour slurry to it to give it more creaminess to it. Okay, so it got a nice creaminess. So I'm gonna add this here can of cream of chicken to it. And I believe with this second can, it's going to take it right where I need it to be. Bring it on home for me. So now I'm gonna get that done, mixed in. Like that, right? Oh yes. Oh yeah, that's perfect. I can feel it. You want to have a little weight to it, you know. You don't want to just be like a runny soup. You want a creamy soup. So you gotta taste it to see if it's to that that consistency or creaminess that you want it. But don't have it too thick though, because you're not making the chicken pot pie. You making that chicken pot pie soup, you know. And even though I'm making the chicken pot pie soup without the crust, I am going to we still gonna have us some biscuits on the side, y'all. I'm just saying, some biscuits, some rolls, whatever to dip in this soup. Oh yeah, baby, it's gonna be on point, on time, on point, on time, on point. Okay, so I'm gonna taste that one more time. You want it to look creamy. You want it to be a little, when you stir in it. See, you gotta feel your food. You know what I'm saying? Go with the flow of it and feel it, and you can feel the weight of it to tell if it got a little, you know, heaviness to it. You know it ain't that watery. Just like that. So now, what I'm about to do is them leftover potatoes that I had. See, y'all potatoes are already up in there, but now I can add my potatoes right on up in here, and I'm just gonna leave my potatoes in rounds. It'll be all right. I can break them down if I want to. Adding the bell peppers, the juice, and all, honey. Everything going up in there. We ain't leaving nothing out. All that gonna be flavored, you know. All that right there, like that right there. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so now we about to stir this here right on in. Oh, child, look at that consistency. Look at that consistency. You see how it's coating that spoon? When you see it coating that spoon like that, you see that? How it's just coating the spoon, it ain't running off so fast. That's how you know you got a good consistency to your chicken pot pie soup. So now we just gonna let those potatoes just heat on through and cook this for maybe about another 10 minutes and it's through. But when you add your potatoes to yours, let yours cook for about 15 minutes. You could dice your potatoes, slice your potatoes, however you want your potatoes. You do it how you want it. But cook yours for about another 15 minutes when you add the potatoes, because you know it don't take long for potatoes to cook. You just want to cook long enough till your potatoes is done. And if you kind of scared and you're not sure, boil your potatoes on the side. Boil them on the side, then add them on in just like I did. You see? And now look at this here. Look at that chicken pot pie soup. Can you see? Can you see that? Can you see all that nice? Let me get you on in there. Can you see this here? You see that? Chunks of chicken, potatoes, your veggies. You got your onions and carrots. Oh, child, just imagine having some biscuits on the side with this honey to sop up all that deliciousness, child. Okay. Alrighty, y'all. This is the chicken pot pie. Oh, looking all succulent and delicious. So, if you give my chicken pot pie a try, I ask that you leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about it. But until the next video, this is your girl Tia, not gonna be me. Y'all be blessed and y'all have a good one. Enjoy.